What's up, everybody, man? Okay, so uh, I think um, I'm probably gonna set that up. So people been requesting videos of me to do. I got two today, and I'm probably gonna do it into one. So I wanted to talk about the whole when people talk about getting your shit together, productivity and jobs, they never tell you what comes with that stuff. They never tell you that. I'm going to show you that we all have our ups and downs and we all can learn from each other, right? And learn from my mistakes not to make those mistakes. The mistakes that I made years ago was thinking things was too good and things was never going to get bad. But I was always taught by many different types of people that you always have backup money sitting around. And every single time that backup money saved me. Now, I gotta do that more, but I don't want to keep doing this, repeating the same shit that I've been doing for a long, long, long time. So, there's things that's gonna have to change. But, I want to show y'all that I ain't full of shit on here. So, also, a lot of people tell you to get your shit together, get your shit together, get your shit together. But they never tell you the things that come with it, what you have to do, the mindset you have. And the reason why a lot of people don't really do it like that, because it takes them out of certain things, elements. You know, the reason why a lot of people, there's a reason why a lot of people are quote unquote lazy or don't do out here, get there, because they become more stoic and more kind of more stingy and more selfish. You know, I said this before. They don't. I said this in the other video. I said a lot of people don't like selfish men, right? If a selfish man get money, he's gonna take care of the bills, take care of what he needs to, and then he gonna spend that most time to himself. And they don't like that because they want you to always give them money out your pockets. You work hard and you give them money out of your pockets. So these are the things that nobody says when it comes down to getting your stuff together, or stuff that these people don't try to say. It's not the work, it's the place. The things that they don't tell you, and also the things that they don't tell you, and the things that come with the job and the working and everything else, right? And after this, I'm gonna show you, you know, all of likely my work, not my work experiences. I'm not gonna show you all that, but I'm gonna show you the experience that I had in the pictures that I took over the past couple of years. This is from, let's see, 2013, 14, sometimes even last like like the last couple, like 6, 7 years, right? So people have this perception that people don't want to work, or they're lazy and they don't want to be career. No, it's because the people that's you're around. Now, it's not about being socially awkward, it's about being socially tolerant. When I was in the welding school, which I'm gonna show you, but I'm gonna give you a backstory. There was 3 guys there, no, 4 guys that was there, that didn't have a jail record, didn't have all these baby moms. We was just there to get ourselves together. One dude did it because his dad told him to get his trade under his belt. Another dude did it because he wanted to get this trade under his belt. I did it to get a trade under my belt, and basically wanted to make something of myself. The school, I'll tell you at the end what the school turned out to be. But and the fourth dude was he was a counselor, and he was tired of dealing with the counseling shit. And he talked about his pops, his dad. Funny story. He talked about his dad being this like, non-attentive dad, but try to make it up to him later on in life. And the funny thing about it was his dad was in the same program. His dad was in the same program. And I learned that from working and being around people, school, and certain environments, you got a whole bunch of people that's in an environment that shouldn't be there. I learned that also, and I'm gonna talk about that after. I'm gonna show you the pictures and everything. Wait, let me see. This still up? Okay. So it becomes more of a factor of it ain't the work, it ain't the working, it's the people. The people drain you from your. I saw to a lot of people back in the past, and even now. If you ask anybody, would they rather work hard, would they work longer if it wasn't that many people around them? And they would say, yeah. Some of the most ultra productive people work when they have people around them that are actually easy to work around. And it's hard to be around people that is destructive, always trying to or G-check you with some shit. That happened a lot in the program. That happened a lot in the trade school. People talking shit behind your back, fucking shit happening. I'll tell you the story. It was one girl there, and all these niggas end up trying to go to her. All these dudes. So it's not the work, it's the people in the work environment. For some reason that I don't understand why there's no checks and balances in the work environment if you want more men to go out and work. I understand, you need to understand, it's but so much that people will take before something happen, right? It's not because they red pill, because there's many men and women who took their own lives because they were in a job that was constantly just picking at them. And standing up for yourself might get you fired, all right? So now you have to pick the right environment and the right job so you don't be stuck in a place and you'll be financially dependent on the place, and then magically for some reason you're financially dependent on a certain job or environment, and then somehow, some way, these people have control over you until you find some way to get you out of that situation. That's why I love working under the table, not a part of an official job, or love working with an agency, because I can just drop the shit out of them and bounce. And I don't have to sit there and tolerate no bullshit. All right. Some guys have to tolerate years and years of bullshit before they get a career or whatever. And sometimes even in their career, they tolerating bullshit, or somebody talking to them or talking down to them or some shit like that. What career you can tolerate for 20 or 60 years? So a lot of people don't understand that sometimes some people, not all the time, some people need to get something that they somewhat enjoy, right? When I was looking around for a career, trade, I looked at things that I wanted to do for 20 years. I looked at the hazardous, I looked at the deaths, I looked at all the stuff, looked at all the accidents that could happen, and then I said, okay, something that I can tolerate, something that I can do for a long period of time was welding. Now I have to pick another trade that I'm going to do that will make me money, that I'll be happy with, or that I can tolerate for a number of years, that will be profitable and lucrative, right? So people don't talk about that, right? People, I see this all the time. People walking around talking about how they have IT skills and, they have this and that. They have this, they making this and they making that. And it's like, okay, you have IT skills and you're teaching other people IT skills, but you're not telling people the requirements of how much money that they're going to have to put out in order to learn this. And I'm not talking about as far as the skills in general, right? I'm talking about they're going to have to improve their computer so they can have a better computer so it won't slow down or whatever. There's certain things that comes with careers. Like in welding, I would have had to spend at least $500 more than that for protective gear, for protective stuff, for the visors, to keep the arc out of my face, certain glasses, certain protective gloves. It would have cost me. It's a cost effective career. Every career has cost to it, and you're supposed to cover the cost with the money that you make from it, but you should generate money from it, right? Nobody talks about that, right? So what career you can tolerate for 20 or 60 years? A lot of paperwork in the beginning. So what they don't tell you, especially people when say to get yourself together, there's a lot of paperwork. What I had to do was sit down and go through all these different types of programs and sign a whole bunch of papers and, get loans out and do all this paperwork and stuff like that. I was so gung-ho to get in and just do my welding. I wanted to get in and it's like, oh man, I can't wait, blah, blah, blah. Then some way, it was like, what the hell? All this paperwork, man? And it was kind of antsy because I really wanted to, get it over with. Yeah, man, I'm going to do this, man. I'm going to get myself together, blah, blah. It was so much paperwork that it was like, man, But that's what they don't tell you about. You have to be competent to do some paperwork, or 9 times out of 10, you're going to be lost behind, right? So they don't tell you about the paperwork that you got to do. The risk versus the rewards. So the risk is that you're going to have to, 9 times out of 10, there's not a lot of programs in whatever city that you're supposed to be in. Depending on what city you're in, I'm not going to say you won't, but I'm going to say that there isn't a place I don't know, it isn't a whole bunch of programs that will pay you to take their courses and do that, unless somebody can tell you. And then you need somebody help to basically get you there, right? That's not a lot of programs. You're going to have to take out a loan. And the loan you'll be able to pay back when you get on your feet with your career, right? So one thing that nobody tells you is that obvious thing, that the risk versus the reward, right? The risk is you putting in as much work as possible in order to get certifications and everything else, and hopefully you do the right thing, you learn the right way, and then you go out in the world and you basically make that money back that you put out there, right? So stuff like that. And sometimes you lose. like I did. The school, I'll tell you later on. The school, the trade school that I went to, turned out to be a total failure. Not on my part, but on the place in general, which we was lied to, right? We were told that it was a small place. I'll show you that it was a small place, and they churn out students all the time. They couldn't handle the capacity. They couldn't handle the capacity that it took to the demand, because there was more and more people that wanted to get themselves together that came in. They wasn't ready for that. So one thing that happened was there were way too many people there and not a lot of teachers. There was one welding instructor who was there since the beginning. He was he did government contracts, and he bragged about that. Yeah, man, I did government contracts, and I worked for the government and stuff, and I got this wife and stuff, and she likes me, and she makes more money than I do, and blah 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 blah. He was saying, bragging shits and everything else. He was a exceptional welder, but he was a shit teacher. Then you had an older guy who was welding ever since before they even put it in programs. He had injuries and everything else, but he was more, how can I put it? He was more, he was too old to be moving around, and he was biased to who he was help, right? Which you're not supposed to do. And there was this average welder who taught me the basics. It was this average guy who taught me every single thing. He was the one that helped me get it, unlike the other two. Then they had a guy there that was used to be a student, and then you had students. Student teachers, right? And when we had complaints about the program, he would run back to the place. He would run back to the school and tell everybody who was displeased with the school. And he got in trouble for that because people didn't want to be around dude at all. They was like, yo, why are you snitching and saying all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. He was like, man, he was like, I'm just doing my job, man. You blah, 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 blah. Like, man. And people didn't trust him. People didn't want to be around dude. They didn't like him. And you had a lot of cast of characters there, right? Even certain people that was there, and they seen that they wasn't getting what they were supposed to get, and some of them bounced in between. I saw a lady. I saw one lady. She paid out of pocket, and she was like, I don't think I like this, and she bounced. Right? What is your goals with the money? So people don't talk about that and plan out their time with the money. People always tell you, get your shit together, blah, blah, blah. But you have to have a big map. The highest motivation should be the money. You ain't going to do all this because you want to just be a part of a productive society and this and this and that. No, you want the money. You want to be able to separate yourself from certain people. Money means you have more options to do certain things, right? So what would you do with this money? What kind of people you gonna have around you with this money? How many people gonna be sniffing around when you have this money? You have to ask yourself those questions. How many things you're gonna miss out on when you're working and you're pursuing stuff? Sometimes I missed out from 2015 to 16, close to 17 too. I missed out on probably 2 years worth of video games. I was watching TV shows and movies in between, but I missed a whole bunch of movies when I was working real hard. Um, um, and then I finally caught up with all them movies and TV shows that I missed during them times. But you have to calculate and write in a book all the movies you want to see once you have off time or once you have time to yourself. How much money it takes to make you happy. So people don't ever ask themselves that question: how much money they need to make themselves happy, to make themselves not complain, to be happy overall. It's 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year. It's not what makes other people happy. What makes you happy? And people never ask themselves that before they get into the productivity and stuff. That's why I see a lot of guys in this space who quote unquote productive, but they in unproductive spaces. Gabe A is on here using his money to get, to be out here. He's supposed to be doing real estate. A lot of the so-called productive guys, I never seen any other race do this except black dudes and sometimes some white dudes, but they're doing it in between. I did see it in the gaming space where you got guys who work in like trucking or manual labor or trades. They come on here and say some shit, but they don't be on here like trolling like that. I only see it in the black space where some of these productive guys be on some bullshit. They be out here, bragging and stuff like that. Yeah, these guys are losers. Remember that's one guy that was on this in this space. I forgot his name. He had the Wakanda thing. I forgot his name. I gotta check his name. He was on Reg Bad Guys panel. I forgot his name. He was blocked by like a whole bunch of people. Yeah, his name was Preem. There we go. Preem. There we go. My bad. Preem. Preem came in his space bragging about how he has in his tech and stuff like that. He's the perfect guy that I point to when it's like, yo, I understand if you come in this space trying to get people off their ass and trying to change people's life. But when you come in here and throw shit in people's faces and be like, oh yeah, man, you guys are lazy and blah blah blah. It's with a purpose, but it's also when it comes down to when it ain't a purpose. It's like, okay, you understand these guys are this and this and that. You put the information out and you let people come to you, and if they going to want to get themselves together, they get themselves together. If they don't, then let them go back in the wind and do whatever they do, right? So a lot of people who I see who productive really don't have any kind of creativity that makes them happy. They just come in this space. Like I said, if I had the so-called money that these guys had, which I didn't have their type of money, but I'll show you that I had an access of money a couple years ago. Even when I was doing super bad, the hackers kept me flush with the money and some of the other shit that I was able to do before this FBI bullshit. So literally, I didn't really come online to brag, or I was too busy trying to enjoy the little free time I had. I wouldn't use my free time to come online and troll motherfuckers. Online, when you have the ability to text on your phone in between certain commercials or waiting in line, that's different. But being on your laptop and being in panels and being in chat, sitting there doing like this and then the boo boo, I got money, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, you can be doing something else with your time if you just productive guy. And it's a lot. It shows me a lot. Like black dudes do this more than any other race I've seen. Time management skills. Just me bouncing back off from the time management skills. So I don't get. To me, You have to have ultra time management skills. 8 hours of this, 3 hours of that. It took me, when I came from work or whatever, I had about 5 hours of my time, my personal time. I had to chip that away for 4 hours left. 20 minutes, 30 minutes to shower. I think 30 minutes or probably 15 minutes to shower. 10 minutes to dry off. So 15 minutes to shower, 10 minutes to dry off. And then I had to, it took me 5 minutes, 10 minutes to eat. And if I had to go to the store, grab something, whatever, during that time, wait till it cool off. That's why it's good to have some food, not to cook it, whatever, or cook some food in the beginning of the week and eat some leftovers and warm them up, after that, right? So warm it up or whatever. You still have 4 hours to play with before you go to sleep. So you can play a 3-hour game, 3-hour gaming session, or you can watch about 5 episodes or something, and then you go to sleep, and then you do it again. You have to have good time management skills in order to be ready to go back to work or to your career, right? Getting up in the morning and the routines to maintain this. So I remember when I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I used to listen to Stefan Molyneux. The racist Stefan Molyneux guy, right? But before he started talking that all right shit and whatever he was doing, because I was listening to some of his live shit, he never put that on there. By the time that he start putting that fucking bullshit of race theory and all that other shit, I bounced from him. But I think that everybody needs a routine to keeps them focused so they can basically get up in the morning so they get motivation. A routine keeps you stable, right? A routine keeps you stable. Getting up in the morning, while listening to Brazilian funk music, playing some, doing something in the morning. Oh yeah, blah blah blah, yeah, blah blah blah. It's soothing to know that you have something to fall back on when you need it, right? So morning routine, get up every day, will let you, your body, and especially if you got a good routine, you will get up automatically. You wouldn't need a what you call it, alarm clock, right? Let's see. The people in the same area as you. So you have to pay attention to the people that's in the same area as you, because a lot of times people will try to, how can I say it? People will try to take what you got, right? And or they would try to be your friend. And it's like that with anything, right? You got to pay attention to people in your area of field so you don't be used or played with, or they try to see you as an opportunity. Pain from working. So there's a lot of people who don't tell you that there's injuries that come with it. Even being on the computer for too long comes with some type of pain. Your wrist, some of the other stuff that you have to deal with from, how can I put it? As far as oh shit, let me see. Oh hell no. This pain comes with everything. You working a labor job, or your back hurting something, you're gonna have to deal with the pain. And sometimes a lot of people don't really not people don't tell you about the pain that you're gonna receive from this. They'll be like, oh yeah, man, work this and this. They never tell you that the pain that you're gonna have to, you pain that you dealing with, right? So let's see. Feeling tired even with free time, not thinking you have enough time to yourself. So sometimes, there's a certain thing where you feeling absolutely, uh, extremely tired all the time, and you have to regulate yourself you have to give yourself extra energy for your free time. Sometimes it's a struggle to sometimes it's a struggle to even put yourself and give yourself some free time that you want it, but then eventually you be like, I don't have the energy to do the things I want to do with my free time. I got to go to sleep. And you get some sleep, and you probably got one day. So they're not going to tell you that, you're going to be feeling tired a lot from, working and whatever. Watching lazy people. So one thing that gets people angry, or as they say, get angry or whatever, is lazy people who come to you and, how can I say it? Certain lazy people who do absolutely nothing and you're doing a lot, right? That one thing that it burns you up, that you're doing all this work and somebody comes up to you and asks you for $1 or 50 cents, and then the first thing you say is like, go get a job. It's not that hard. Go get a job. And for some reason they look at you like you told them something amazing to do, and it's like, well, why should I give you my money? All right? And that's why I said it becomes extremely, as a man, you become extremely selfish. Because when you work so hard, people coming in your way asking you to take you on dates and blah blah blah. It's like, hey man, I don't think that's a thing. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that, bro. I don't got time for that, bro. and it becomes more of them trying to shame you into like, oh well, but you need to do this. No. I don't need to do anything, bro. You good. Do your own thing, man. There was a point of me getting money and doing this and doing that. It's basically me being able to choose who I want to spend my money on and what I want to spend my money on, right? So, dealing with lazy people who talk shit and people on drugs. You see these people, and these people have some nerve to be calling you names, talking about you, and you be like, is this person serious? Like, dude, you're a nothing by ass person, and you have some nerve to talk about me, to have this type of like vitriol or whatever towards me. Like, okay, this is insane. You're like, okay, this is really insane, right? You get kind of mad. You be like, what the fuck? Did you really say that to me? Find happiness in a time windows. So sometimes you have to find a small window where you will have some time to yourself, and it would have to be something that it'd be really, really, really crazy. You'd be like, okay, I don't have time. I don't have this time, this and this and this and this, but I can do this in this time period, and this and this and this and this and this. It becomes more of a you're fighting. It's not that you're fighting. It's like, okay, you're trying to find ways to relieve yourself from some of the things that you have to do, because you can't just be a robot and work, right? You have to find something that'll leave yourself, even if it's for 5 hours. Sometimes it would be pressure where I would literally take a break for like 5 hours, and I would literally watch certain animes, look at something that relieves my mind, and then I just jump back into it. And I'll show you the pictures of that too. Write down what you want to do in your free time to help you get a mental breaks. Basically, it's the same thing. It's planning out. It's planning what you want to do with your free time, and not letting anybody else control your free time. Right? Don't go to any certain events unless it means getting money. Don't let anybody, mess with your free time or anything else like that. Because if people can do that to you, and these are the same people who tell you, "Oh, go out and get a job, go out and do this and do this and do that. Oh, go out and do this and do that." At some point, you're gonna have to put your foot down with a lot of people, right? Because you're working, and you literally deserve, because you work for your free time. When you work for your free time. Sometimes that's how some people see it. When they see you sitting around, sometimes when they see you sitting around, or you not doing nothing, or they don't this and that, whatever, they see that you didn't work for your free time. But at the same time, when you do work, they think they can take your free time from you. And you'd be like, who the fuck you think you are? No, I'm working now. I got stuff going on. This free time is mine. It ain't yours. Get the fuck out of my face. Right now. Bounce. And then, it helps you know exactly what you're going to do. And you can schedule your free time around whatever, right? So, try working out to have more energy after work to do some else on your free time. So, working out does help you. Working out does help you, because once you push your body to a certain limits, working really doesn't take all your energy out. You're gonna have energy. You have to manipulate your mind, and you have to also make sure that you at a certain limit. Your body goes to a certain limit where it stores energy, and your brain stores certain energies. And it's a mental complication, right? It's like if you work out, you get tired at a certain time, and then you go to sleep. That's the same thing with working, right? But sometimes you push your body to a certain threshold work rate where it surpasses the work hours that you put in. You have a little bit more energy left until it becomes winding down. So sometimes you can push your body to probably 15, 16, 17 hours of activity. And your body will stay active until it slows down. And then that's when you go to sleep. I started playing around with that concept before, when I was pushing my body to higher levels. And then eventually, when you work or whatever, you go to sleep, the work becomes just work. It don't boggle you down unless you're dealing with somebody. And then working out does help you out. And here's the secret to everybody who talk about working out all the time. If you work out for 6 months straight, I'm talking about hardcore, or I'm talking about after whatever hardcore, or you do it for a year, you don't have to go back to the gym for another couple of years, unless you want to maintain something else. As long as you stay active and keep your body active at the same level that you worked out, you won't have to go to the gym at all. So try to time everything you make to make a time management system. So pretty much is me telling you to time yourself on everything. See how much time it takes. That's how I knew that it took this much time to take a shower, or this much time to eat, or this much time. You have to cut that time down so you can be more specific in your life, and you won't waste no time like that. Even with people, hey man, this person is a 3 hour person. I don't want to talk to this person more than 3 hours. Oh, this person is an hour person. Hey, I don't have to have this person is a 5 minute conversation person. I cut those people down like that. Hey man, if you see my time, my call log, if you saw my old call log, there were people that I talked to for hours, and there was people that I talked to for minutes. And be like, hey, hold up, and I hang up the phone. Watch out for new people who come into your life after you start making your money. So I call it the people in the room, right? You have to imagine how many people in the room when you was alone, when you didn't have money, and then imagine these new people coming in, or write them down and say what this person wants, their personality, write it down and say, hey, who are you? What this person want? What this person want? Why is it when I first started this, ask yourself this, when I first started this, there was nobody here. Now, when I'm starting this and I'm making money, why there's like 8 people in this room? Why there's 9 people in this room? Why there's 10 people in this room? So stuff like that. Start to list the things you get after the job and new career. So, meaning that you put the list down of the stuff that you can afford, the stuff that you can get now that you couldn't get, the benefits you can get now, all the stuff that you can get. Because now it starts putting into perspective what you couldn't do and what you can do now. Oh, I can afford this some car. Oh, I can get this game right here. Oh, I can do this right there. I can get this fast. I don't have to wait a couple weeks for this. I don't got to do this. I can do that. You can put that down as a perspective. Times fly. Try a personal diary to help you and others show your path with your journey. So, 9 times out of 10, I have, get your personal diary, get some pictures, put them in an album, whatever, put them on a thumb drive, and then you start seeing all the stuff that you did before, all the money that you made, all the stuff that you put down. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I did this and I did that. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I did that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I did this. And you be like, oh, shit. I did real good a couple years ago. I want to get back to what I did back then. Then you could show other people, getting your video diary, the things you bought, the things you learned, and you give it to specific people that you trust. It's kind of like a martial arts thing, right? You know that there was martial art masters who would put down their techniques in scrolls and stuff like that, and they would wrap it up, and they would put them in certain locations. And they would give these scrolls and these instructions and these moves and how to do certain techniques. They would give them to specific people. This shit been around for years, decades, centuries. They just put it in scrolls, and they would teach certain people certain things in order to bring these people to their level. They would teach certain martial arts techniques to certain people. Some martial art masters wouldn't even have kids, because they wouldn't trust a person to show their kids something, because the kids might not want to be martial art masters. So they would basically make it sure that they can pass it on. They will call them their mentors, their teachers, their brothers, their sisters, in terms of teaching them. So time flies fast when you're working, but start to feel like you are fast forwarding days sometimes. So sometimes you be on pilot mode sometimes mentally. You get up, you do this, you do that, you get up, put it on, you at one place one time, and basically you be so focused on what you're doing, sometimes you forget that sometimes you be like, oh, it's a Monday, and then somebody tells you, no, it's Wednesday. You're like, whoa, I thought it was Thursday. And then sometimes you do that and be like, oh, wow, I didn't know I got through this week that fast. Because the trick is you spend most of your time focusing on improving yourself, whatever you're doing, or focusing yourself making money, and then you be too busy with something else, right? And you don't slow down. You become a robot and don't notice everything stop, and you want to go back to doing it again, right? So that happened to me a couple times, right? Where I became somewhat of a so-called robot, where I did this, did that, got up at this time, did this, that, and when it stopped, you be like, damn, I do miss that routine and doing that. You miss the place that you worked at. You miss that area. You start to feel like a phantom, that you belong somewhere else, but you here now, right? Sometimes your free time is doing chores to maintain your work routine. Yeah, sometimes you don't get to do what you want to do. And that depends on whatever career fair, because you have to do maintenance, right? Sometimes you have to clean the place. Sometimes you have to do laundry. Sometimes you have to clean and count things. Sometimes you got to do this and maintain this and this and that and do this. Sometimes you spend your free time doing stuff that you have to do in order to keep that routine up, to keep you going, to keep you 100% when you go into a place, keep you 100% so you don't mess up, 100% so you can keep making money. That's the sacrifice. Write down what you can do with your money and what you can't do, and find if you need a new job or trade to get to new goals. So basically, it's compare and contrast, right? What you can afford now with this career and working, or what you can afford when you trade up and go to another place. Some people don't do this, where they like, oh, I got to get a new place, new this, new this, new that. And they don't understand how good they got it. And they don't know how to transition from that one point to the next one, right? New goals and whatever. Money management system. So money management system, I would rather, the whole point of that is basically seeing where your money goes, who it goes to, what company it goes to, who you got to cut off, and who you keep on, right? Bring under someone, being under somebody and having to take orders. One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't like, including myself, is that when people abuse the fact that I'm under them or I have to take their orders, right? I remember at the trade school that the dude at the trade school tried to play me and try to kick me out, or he was trying to do something. I forgot what he was, and he was making up some shit that he didn't do this to anybody else, right? He tried me. And me and him was going back and forth about something, and I forgot what it was. And somebody there seen I was sticking up for myself and thought that I was just quiet. But he was like, yo, I never seen you like that. I'm like, nah, man, he was lying his ass off about something, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, dude was lying. He said, I was here during that time, and nobody was there. Nobody did this and this and this and that. He said, but she trying to make you do it. I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, dude, there's a whole bunch of people in here that's ultra lazy and shit, but you trying to get me to do blah, 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 blah. So it was kind of crazy like that, and it's people to abuse their shit. And some people can't take it. You heard people even in this space who said they punched their drivers or something like that, their student driver, because he was racist and shit. I'm like, I ain't going that far, but I'll stand up for myself. Sometimes some of these people in this program, they got this ego about them. They got this shit. It's the same thing that MOT talked about when the military industrial complex, when they abuse people and basically he he said that he go and look at the dude, one of the instructors, and see him living in a nursing home and see how fucked up and bad he is. And he said, I'm happy that you about to go, because you did a lot of fucked up shit. You made a lot of people's life miserable. A lot of people control a lot of people's lives, and they be making them miserable to go through a whole bunch of shit that they shouldn't be going through. That's what they don't talk about. It's a lot of assholes in these trades and jobs. Ran into a couple of them in the trade school. A couple of them. Pain relievers, sprays, and pain meds to carry over to the next day. Sometimes you're going to need to work through the pain. I remember the first time that I used a grinder. Both of my hands it felt like my hands, I couldn't grip at all because, basically the vibrations of the grinder. I literally had to take, I think, I had to take a pill between, because I had to grind down some of I forgot what it was. And they was teaching that there, the grinder, to grind like your, I forgot what it's called now again, since I'm not trying to be in it no more. The slag. You had to grind the slag and get the slag out so it could look more cleaner. And it was like, that shit was painful. It was like, oh, my hand. I'm like, oh. Sometimes you have to deal with the heat. I had to listen to some great music. Like Brazilian funk music got me through them hot ass, that protective gear that you have when you welding, and sometimes the cold that you have to deal with when you outside. Woo, it's you need some music in your ear, man. Feeling left out of things like sex and doing nothing. Sometimes you go to a place where the money don't matter and you just want to be just like those bums that you see doing absolutely nothing. And then you think you don't want to do it, right? So let's go. Okay. So let's break it down. This is when I had a whole bunch of money, but this is me documenting the fact that I had I had a workout plan when I was working, right? When I was real busy. This a couple years ago, and I took this right here. This cost like $60. My maintenance back then, right? This is the cable bill that I paid off right here, 2015. So people don't really be out here acting like somehow I'm lying or whatever. And I said 2015, 2014, 15, actually 2013, 14, 15, 16 was great years. Then 17, the FBI bullshit. So here we go right here. The same palette, same thing right here. Took a picture of that. Took a picture of my financial gains. Sometimes I would have paper money in my pocket, and I would put it in the plastic, and I would put it under my because just in case somebody tried to rob you or whatever, and they couldn't feel that part. So I had to wear 2 pants. I would get cost-effective shit. You're gonna see that I got the same shoes in the same color. So basically nobody knew that I had any type of money or whatever, right? Well, I was making good money. And I would just wear sneakers that would be like unassuming, not expensive sneakers, so people don't notice, right? That's the stuff that I have. I'll get to that guy. Well, let me get to it. So that was my free time. When I only had a few hours, I would be on Facebook. This dude talked a lot of mess. And I remember how that day when I knew this dude went into a motorcycle accident because he was talking so much mess on Facebook. He did this and I started making fun of him. And the screenshot will always stick with me. That there is a system, there is a karma system. This dude was talking so much cash shit about something, and then he put this on there, and I was like, man, at least I ain't in the hospital like you bitch ass nigga. These are the things that got me going. A lot of fun. I could tell you right now, that was my my little lunch. I could tell you this right now. The amount of smartphones that I went through back then, because they were so fucking low tech and cheap or whatever, I was going through all the phones. Some of my pictures are real grainy. They don't have good pictures. But literally I had multiple phones for certain things, right? And here we go. And I had my, my music player for my music, right? My hygiene products that I had. So this is when I took a picture of the welding station I had, because we ain't have our own welding station. We picked ourselves stations, right? Let me tell you what happened in the welding school. So there was this one girl, and I seen this happen a lot. I seen this happen, and nobody said anything. There was this one girl there. While most of us was failing to do passovers or get it right, because some of the instructors wasn't really doing their job like that, and they fired the best instructor that taught me how to weld good. I seen these dudes taking the test for her. The welding test, what you do is you weld together certain parts, do a couple passovers, do in between the passovers, and then you do 3 passovers, and then you seal it up in the front and the back. Then you have to cut it, and you have to laser cut it, and then the test to show you have to grind it down to a metal. You have to grind it down to not even a penny, but you have to grind it down to a certain metal, a certain certain metal. I'm forgotten the thing. You have to grind it down, and then you have to cut it into a small piece, and then you have to put it through a machine, and then you bend it. If it bends, you pass the test. If it cracks, you fail. So a lot of people failed. Not because, because we just started, and then we had to go back to new, and we had to keep practicing our passovers and everything else. I watched these dudes help this chick pass. Literally pass. She wasn't that good, but she passed. And that's not up to me. It's up to whoever hire. And if somebody hire and she fucks up the test, because you have to pass a test when you do work anywhere, that's on her. Yes. It was a whole bunch of dudes there just letting her pass. And yeah, see, I was messing up and everything else. I had to do my passovers, messed them up. That's the machine in the back. That was when we was in the garage. That was the better teaching environment, because it was small, and the instructors can get around to everybody. But the main instructor, they fired him, and then they kept bringing in those work students that didn't know how to teach anybody. Yeah, when it was dirty, almost a little bit good, but it was bad, because you see the bottom at the top. The top was good, but the bottom was real bad, and plus it wasn't supposed to be like that. So this is the area of the school that I went in the back of the school. This was my sanctuary. Remember how I tell you that you had to manage your time, and sometimes we would get like 3 hours, because we would be on our feet. I think we get like 2 hours of break, right? Because we was on our feet ever since from 8 a.m. to 3, 4? No, I think it was an hour break. And I took a picture of this, because this is the area that I used to just sit in the back. Here we go, the machine. There's the station that you got to set it up. You got to put the nail on and everything else on my gloves. This is on the way to it. Basically getting myself in shape. And here we go. So you see that little part right there, that long part right there. You had to cut that down. And you had to cut that down and had to make these more smaller. These three parts, they were all separate. Oh, my bad. Sometimes in this school, they didn't have available metal material. Now, I didn't never know. This is my first time going to a trade school, and I didn't know that they was supposed to have available metal for us to weld together, or they were supposed to get more metal for us to weld apart. So that was one of the bullshit things that went on. These three parts, sometimes they would want us to weld on something that was already welded on. These three parts were supposed to be part of your test, and you were supposed to keep doing passovers until you get master of it. And you were supposed to pass TIG, MIG, and I forgot what the last one was. It was the one with stick, TIG, MIG. The stick was the hardest one because you needed a lot of focus with the stick. But at the same time, I was, making money on the side doing that at the same time. That's what it would look like after it. I got basically when I was dating somebody, this shirt ain't really a thing no more because it got ruined. But the Japanese girl that I said that I was dating and I was about to marry, whatever, I kept the shirt. And if you look up how much this shirt costs, it costs money. Back in 2013, Puerto Rican Day Parade, I still have this in my memory. The ship, it was one of the best because it was, like I said, I always go around different people. But, back then, I always go around different people, see how they react to me than my so-called own people. And it was a vibe, man. They don't really do this no more like they used to. Before, even after the 2012, 13, and even close to like the 14 version, the Puerto Rican Day Parade in Philly was really after that, like 15, 16, 17. The whole city, I remember when the whole city kind of shut down, and I don't know what happened, but we ain't had none of this shit like that ever again. I remember this girl. That's my red pill day, my red pill Facebook days. I remember when this girl was talking about something about her father and being depressed, right? And how she would separate all of the guys that she would want to talk to based off her victimhood. And this is how I learned on some of these traits. Well, I not relearned, but kind of like reintroduce myself to the traits that some of these people do. I remember there was a girl that had cancer, and she would put old pictures of herself, and she would get sympathy for the guys that she liked, and she would ignore the people that was not attractive and just pay attention to the people who were attractive to get sympathy from them. Yeah, this is me and Passovers and stuff, trying to, when I had the book in my hand. As you see, told you. Literally, I bought the same sneakers about 3 times to mask the fact that, I didn't have anything. This is me showing my book bag and whatever. Well, I had a gym bag, and imagine walking around with steel-toe boots, a grinder in your bag, and that shit weighed like 50 pounds, and I was just, slugging it around when I went to the back and from the school, and that shit was heavy, man. As people would say, I don't have to lie about the Hawaiian chick that tried to talk to me and try to come to Philly. I remember this girl on Facebook who who kept telling me that I needed to die and I'm a loser and weirdo. And she ends up with a bum ass nigga waiting for the bus. So she was bragging about how she don't get with any kind of man who don't have more money and all this other stuff. But she ends up with a bum getting pregnant by him. This bum couldn't even take care of his child. There was somebody in this group that was giving her money for her diapers, and also there was people giving her money for other things too. And somebody took a picture of her because she was talking so much shit, and they knew where she lived at, and they said they seen her a lot of times, and she was posting videos, thirst traps on. She was posting thirst traps on Facebook, and then when they seen her, they snapshot it, and I was like, damn, man, everybody made fun of her. So this is the training school that I was a part of, and this is my ID. Like I said, I don't have to lie. It's blurry, and I had to put it out, but I mean not put it out, but put up the picture. That's me right there, man. It's blurry. But I didn't have to lie. I don't have to lie about what I did, where I was at the time, the money that I made back then. So, as you see, like the FBI saw, when they try to investigate me, they seen that I was legit at the place that I was at. See, more money. I like to take pictures of the money. This was my sanctuary. So back in 2015-16, I moved to a new place after being in the place for a very after being in one place for a very, very long time. A certain situation happened, and I had to live in another house with another individual. Now the person that said that we can move in there, lied and said that we were the only ones there. And barely in 2016, I barely got any sleep. The person that we was in the house with was having sex. He brung some raggedy single mom bitch in there, and he was having sex early in the morning and at night because he didn't have no job or nothing. While I was going to welding school, it was burning me up to a point where I was losing mountains and mountains of sleep. Now, 2016, I think I wasn't on here. So 2017 was a real big fucking deal because a lot of shit transpired. A lot of stuff happened within the 2013, 14, 15, 16. I went through ups and I then went through fucking downs to the point where I was nearly homeless in 2017. This was my sanctuary near a fucking trash can. I was watching videos of Leafy is Here on my phone while taking a break from the welding. I can't believe that I was actually sitting here. Like me now wouldn't really, I'd be like, what the fuck? This shit is nasty. But I was out of my mind, and I only got about close to 5. Sometimes it was, the amount of peace that I got was like 5 hours a week. Because remember, I think that it was hour breaks. I took a picture of that. And then when I got, the kind of boom that I had to get me a gaming console. Then this was at the time where the FBI came. As you see, it was 2017. It was 2017. This was the card that I got when the guy came to the house over some bullshit that they made up on Facebook. And that cost me so much money to the point where my money slowed down. And, in the situation I'm in now, I had to go full legit after this COVID bullshit. And this is me taking a picture of the cable, the line. I remember when I had a place to stay. This is the place that I stayed. I got some cable there, and I thought I was gonna bring the cable here, but Comcast, the bullshitters they are, tried to make me pay extra to move it. Also, on top of the fact, they try to make me pay two bills, and to move the cable and the internet to the new place that I'm in currently right now. And I told them no. And then they tried to dick around and everything. I didn't have cable for about 3 months. No internet, no cable. And I had to eat oodles and noodles for about 3 months. Just to get away from a situation where I was lied to about not being in a house by myself or not having a place. Yeah, so like I said before, I don't want to live with other people. That experience was one of the worst things. I had to literally buy this bullshit to watch TV, and you spend most of your time coming back and playing video games and this. And to that on, this girl right here was a chick that I used to talk to about a couple years ago. She's from Dubai, and I seen her on what's her name? Fadman. And I used to talk to her on Skype. Not no more. So back then, I said that I was never going to be without entertainment ever again. Right? Because during that time, that the 3 months and basically lost, I was watching old DVDs on my PlayStation 3. That shit was hell. Watching the same movies, getting up every day with the same fucking movies. The only saving grace I had was video games. I had no access to the internet, nothing. That shit was horrible, especially the oodles and noodles. I had to mix up the oodles and noodles to like eating with some cakes or shit. That shit was hard. But it actually taught me the fact is that if I had to do that again, I just had to blank it out and deal with it. I took pictures of like when I used to, before I started, putting it down in the app. I got an app for taking the episodes per episodes or whatever, right? But I used to just take a picture of it. And I made promise to myself that I was always going to have a available hard drive so I can watch my favorite shows. So if I don't have no cable or no internet, I have hours and hours of movies and TV shows. If I have no cable, internet, or no gaming, I can have my TV shows. Back when she came out, this is a Brazilian funk music. She used to be in a popular Brazilian group. So back on Facebook, you had females trying to get their friend to troll me. So this girl went in my inbox, tells me my friend said she see you message her, please. Her name, please. Ziva Sava. She said all jokes aside, she wants to know you because she seen your IG pictures. So I played the game with her, and then this girl said, "What are you talking about?" And then they was playing back and forth. And I said this before, if they could do this online, what you think they can do this shit on real life? So my social experiment stuff was crazy. I remember her back then on my peak when she was this New Zealand chick, or I think New Zealand's or Swedish chick. She was fine back then to look at to give me motivation. Back then, when Game of Thrones was a thing. What is it? 2019. It before the trash. Beautiful girl. Brazilian funk group. Another beautiful girl. Me with the shirt on. So people don't know that I used to live around. I used to live around the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and everything else like that. So I want to tell you who I try to talk to. The girl with the orange, the one with the bathing suit right here with her legs crossed. The two girls with their legs crossed. I try to talk to them. They both sisters. I try to talk to them back when they came on the block back in 2018 when they came from. So yes, my mans, I do have that experience. The block that one of the people that I hang out with, what I try to support, two guys who turned their back. Well, three of them. Pretty much the whole family. This is where they lived at, right here. I used to come up this area all the time and hang out with these people to give them support. And I had to remember that place, and I always go back to this and remember all the times that I wasted with these people. One thing that messed me up back then when I had all that money together and you know, I didn't look around all the corners. I had all the wrong people around me. And sometimes you have to prepare for not you to mess up, but for somebody else to mess up. Now, this time, there was a certain situation that happened that wasn't my fault on my end. And what they don't tell you in a so-called system that people try to tell you to believe in is that sometimes when the system mess up, you pay the price. And that's what happened. I remember her up, down, left. Was it right, left, and right? My right. The girl on the left had a crush on me when I was going to the gym. She used to look at me every single time, smiling at me and everything. But at that time, I was grinding. I didn't care about women. I didn't care about dating. And I didn't want to shit what I eat. I didn't want to date nobody in the gym. I remember there was a girl who married the trainer in the gym. There was another girl, I think, had sex in the gym. She had sex with one of the dudes in the gym. I remember one of the dudes had sex with the girl. You could tell they had sex, and the girl just disappeared. They looked at each other, and they was talking to each other. This is why I stopped. I grind down going to the gym because I didn't like it that they was treating this shit like it was a fucking dating site in a club and people were just sitting around and shit and people would just be in the way. Like I had 3 hours of working out and I wanted to get the working out done in the 3 hours. Sometimes it would go 4 and fuck up my free time at home. That's why I got bitter with fucking gym sometimes, right? They treated this shit like a dating site. See, she kind of cute. She looked it better. I remember her. The girl over there, she was kind of stuck up. She was saying a couple things in Spanish that I didn't like, and the other girl stuck up for me. So people trying to act like that I'm some kind of incel and all this other stuff, man. As you see, gym pictures. I'll show you the gym pictures. I now take pictures of receipts so I can know what I spend now and what I'm gonna spend when I get all the shit and all the money that I need together, so I can know what I need and what I don't need. So let's see. As I said, this is the same gym. So I didn't need all that other shit. These are the games that I was, getting, having fun and shit. These games help me fucking get through some of the hardest motherfucking times, even now. So this whole video was all about that. Never let them tell you that you have to be this perfect person, and never let them try to tell you that, tell them, ask them about their journey. If they're telling you to get your shit together, ask them about the journey, about their journey, right? And if they're honest with you, and they have to be 100% honest with you about their journey. I showed you the pictures. I showed you what I did back then. Like I said, we all have our ups and downs. The mistakes I made, I don't want you to make, because the biggest mistake that I made was letting certain people come in my life while I was doing really great. Also, to not think that it was always going to be a down period. Sometimes you have to prepare for the down period, and sometimes you have to overly prepare. And that I made that mistake kind of again, which I'm not going to do again, was thinking that I had everything prepared, which I did, but my backup plan needed another backup plan, needed another backup plan. That was the mistake that I made, is that I fell back on one backup plan instead of 2 or 3. And I know how to save money. I know how to get myself out of certain situations. I'm at the best peak of myself than I ever was back then. This my financial peak was 14, 15, 16. But my mental peak is here. My physical peak was back when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 25, 26 somewhat, 20, 26, 23, 4, 5, and 6. My physical peak, 21, 15. My financial peak was 13, 14, 15, 16. That's when I had the hackers and stuff. And my mental peak is now. I wish I would have known what I knew back then. All right, but you go through it. You need that experience. But I don't want you to have to go through the experience that I went through. I want you to learn from my experience and be 10 times better than me. Right? This is what they don't tell you about the productivity talk and the job talk and the career talk. They don't tell you about the ups and downs. And they don't tell you about the journeys, because a lot of them don't take pictures. I showed you the pictures. If more people see the ups and downs of Bill Gates and all these other different people, and people will be known that, hey, I don't have to give my money up to any of these people. That was fun times. I mean, I get to look at all the things, all the items and stuff that I bought during them times. Still got them to this day. But, yeah, man. And the 2 requested videos after this one, I'm going to make.